I think we're live. I didn't even see if there was a message. This is also a new mic test, so let's go see what's going on. If we have, yeah, audio is very good. This is a new headset that I just got, so hopefully it will be nice. Anyway, let's jump into it.
Again, you yeah, so again, you made that response video to me where I was talking about vegan dating and relationships, and
So I didn't see the other video. There's also very few videos of Vegan Gains debating on his own channel. I don't know why there's so few. It's kind of strange. Okay.
take was, if you're vegan, it's fine to date non-vegans. It's just that my advice was, if you're going to date somebody and they refuse to ever go vegan, then you probably don't want to continue a
Wait, let me make sure that you can hear it during my. Okay, let's go and check if you can hear
relationship with that
it.
person for two main reasons. One,
Where is
it would
it?
probably
This.
create unreconcilable differences that would end the relationship. And two, you probably just don't want to go to bed with somebody who is a Nazi to animals. So,
Yeah.
and then you, in your response video, you made you said comparing meat eaters to Nazis is ridiculous. I disagree. So,
All right, so comparing meat eaters to Nazis. So Vegan Gains thinks that meat eaters or compares meat eaters to Nazis. So if I understand it correctly, Nazis are punished. Nazis, right? Nazis murdered people, and we hung the leadership of the Nazis. So, should we hang the leaders of the carnivore movement? Is that what Vegan Gains is suggesting? Should we punish meat eaters? I mean, I think the Nazis were the enemies. We went to war against the Nazis. Should we go to war? Should Vegan Gains go to war against? And why isn't he? If Vegan Gains feels that meat eaters are Nazis, why isn't he going to war? Also, if Vegan Gains has a chance to kill a Nazi, would he kill a Nazi? And if he has a chance to kill a meat eater, would he kill a meat eater? So, okay, open questions.
I guess, and that's what I challenged you.
But this is the problem with the vegan movement. The vegan movement is a very dangerous movement. This is why I'm paying attention to this movement. It is because these people, they do feel justified. They do feel that we are somehow very similar to the Nazis. And since the Nazis were very bad people, so meat eaters in their eyes are very bad people, and this would justify doing terrible things to meat eaters. So we need to watch out for the vegan movement. Let's continue.
To debate on.
Yeah, I figured there. Like I said before, I had every intention to do it around next week, but I figured football game's over. Why don't we do it right now? There,
Sure.
because since everybody else is too scared to debate you and everything like that.
Okay, so everybody else is too scared to debate Vegan Gains. The only person in the world I'm scared to debate is Vegan Gains. And it's not because I'm scared to lose to Vegan Gains, it's because Vegan Gains is a very dangerous person. He is, you know, he uses terroristic tactics, actual, what are known as fascistic Gestapo tactics. So, I mean, this guy could harass me in real life. He could dox me and could come after me. That's why I'm afraid of Vegan Gains. I mean, That's the only reason. I was thinking, should I face him? Should I not face him? At this point, I'd rather not face him because I'm just afraid of the consequences in real life. And it might be the reason that other people don't want to engage with him. He's just a scary person. He has no boundaries.
But
Basically, a terrorist.
here's my thing there, Richard. And this is the point I was trying to make there. Me and you, we don't define the dynamics of any type of relationship whatsoever. And I got plenty of friends that are dating, that are vegan, and they're non-vegan there as well there. Now, as far as that's concerned there, as far as the Nazism is concerned, we're talking about two completely different things because here
And the question is why why does this is the problem with vegan gains, also with other vegans, but also with vegan gains, that why bring up the Nazis? I mean, he is what is known as a moral realist. Moral realism means you don't believe in objective morality, which means there are no standards for morality, which means, for example, there's nothing wrong with murder, there's nothing wrong with rape. The preference not to murder or not to rape is the same as the preference to eat vanilla ice cream over chocolate ice cream. So if I prefer vanilla over chocolate, that's just my preference. There's nothing ethical about this preference. And similarly, if I prefer not to murder, not to rape, that's just my personal preference. So that is moral realism, as far as I understand. And basically, I know that is Dr. Avi's position, who is basically who Vegan Gains follows, and also Ask Yourself follows. But I think Vegan Gains is a little bit different. I think he's a Kantian. It's a little bit more complicated, but he is a moral realist. He doesn't believe in objective morality. Um, if that's true, then there's nothing wrong with the Nazis. I mean, the Nazis were just another point of view. Wait, let me check if there's anybody watching. Oh, Vega and Javier, your most loyal subject is here, slave. And Vega, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm reacting to Mr. Monsieur Vegan Gains. It's actually very important. I don't know if anyone else reacted. I think maybe Destiny reacted, but I think more people need to react to Vegan Gains. He's kind of difficult to debate with because he is, as Destiny called it, he's a one trick pony. He specializes in vegan debates. So which makes it very difficult for most people to debate against him because he knows ahead of time exactly what you're going to say because he's debated everyone on this topic. So he knows the dialogue tree by heart. So he's kind of difficult, but someone has to do it. Let us continue.
here's the thing there. Nazis, the reason why they went and gassed the Jews was because they wanted to exterminate them. It was the final solution. So whereas a non-vegan, they eat, people like me, we eat meat in order to survive. We consume the food. You didn't see Nazis up there eating the bodies of Jews, right?
This is the problem with compare and contrast with the Nazis. So the Nazis is just a point of view. The Nazis had their point of view. They felt that, I guess, the Jews were civilization enders. I don't know what exactly they felt about the Jews. I mean, the whole world hated the Jews. I guess the whole world still hates the Jews for some reason. I think it's because the Jews are just so successful. I don't think there's any deep philosophy. It's just, I think it's just jealousy, because anyone who's successful, everyone is jealous and hates them. Anyway, but it's going to be very difficult. The very topic here is very difficult to debate. I mean, because we need to first decide, right? Are meat eaters Nazis? Well, and what are Nazis? What's the definition of a Nazi? I mean, a Nazi is a National Socialist Workers' Party. How is this relevant to eating meat? And by the way, Hitler himself refrained from eating meat. So, and he was the head of the Nazi thing. So are meat eaters Nazis? Are meat eaters not meat eaters? This is what he's saying, because the head of the Nazis was not a meat eater. So are meat eaters not meat eaters? So it's very difficult to have this discussion. So, but I guess he's saying we murder animals, meat eaters murder animals, and the Nazis murdered Jews. So these guys murderers and these guys are murderers. So they're all murderers. So if we don't eat meat, then all the animals will die out. I mean, specifically the chickens and the cows and all the animals that we grow since basically the Neolithic Revolution are going to just die out. Basically, it's going to be an extermination. So, vegans are going to cause the extermination of the animals that we eat. So, you could argue, are non-meat eaters Nazis? Right? It's a it's a perfectly logical argument, just the same, right? Because the Nazis wanted to exterminate the Jews. This was the purpose. The purpose was not to murder, the purpose was to exterminate the Jews. The Nazis didn't murder and replenish the Jews. They didn't grow Jews, murder some, and grow the next batch, and murder some and grow. They didn't want to murder forever or eat. So meat eaters are different in that, but vegans are very similar to the Nazis, because vegans actually, and Dr. Avi agreed that a vegan is causing the Holocaust of all these animals that we eat, because vegans will bring about their extermination. They will cease to exist. So right off the bat, I mean, this entire discussion falls apart. I don't know where we're heading, but fine.
Yeah, I don't
But
see
you
that
also
as
not only that, you also proved my point because I wasn't even aware. I
Wait, let me check comments. Oh, there's so many comments. I wish I could wait. Maybe I can't. Right, I can't play it from here. How can I see it? Cause I don't know. I can't see the comments while. Oh, I can see them on my phone. Yeah, we could do that. Let me get my phone, my phony phone, and let me go to my channel, live. And oh, three are watching. Very nice. Let me lower the volume. Okay, let me read some. I guess I'm gonna have to mark the comments as I read them. Let me see what each and every one of you is writing me. Okay, so the first one, Javier says, "Your most loyal subject is here, slave." With a salute. Thank you, Mr. Javier. Then Vega said, And Vega also said hi. Then Javier, he said, "Isn't Vegan Gains the guy who's always injured?" Yeah, I don't. I mean, he's also very depressed. He has extreme depression issues. He's on medication. He's very, I think, unpopular in many circles. Today I learned that he went to a jiu-jitsu gym and he got kicked out because the guy running the gym said he's afraid of him. Because I would also be afraid of Vegan Gains. I mean, not just also physically. He's not physically intimidating, but he could get you in trouble. This guy is a troublemaker. I would always keep my distance from Senor Vegan Gains. Vega says vegans murder plants. Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, we're gonna dive into everything about vegans. Vegans, well, they murder animals too because in order to grow plants, you need to murder the animals that used to live where the farm is now. And these animals keep coming back, and you have to keep murdering them. And that's fine for the vegans. And and you need to anyway. It we'll discuss everything. The whole thing is utterly ridiculous. But 1 + 1 = 2 is also utterly ridiculous. So, of course, veganism is utterly ridiculous. But the fact that they believe it so staunchly and end up, what I call, they're not called, but they're actually endangering our civilization because of their religious beliefs. They're a dangerous movement, and we need to discuss it. All right, Senor Cree Barnett's Humpty Dumpty. I don't want to dox myself. Oh, okay. And then Vegas says, hit the like button. Yes, everyone, please hit the like button. It's very important. And then Senor Javier says, I saw Vegan Gaines and his wife on OnlyFans. I could never see those pictures. I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Yeah. Okay, let us continue. Yeah.
I had heard stories about Jasmine feeding that dog animals and stuff like that, but I never.
So the story, I think we're gonna get into it. So Jasmine, who is Vegan Gain's wife, she fed the dogs meat, and Vegan Gains got very upset and was gonna divorce her over this. Mm-hmm. That's the story.
Never really got into that there.
Sure. Yeah.
So basically, you just proved my point essentially there. Did you get a divorce from her?
Well, no, but if that were to have kept going on,
So what do you mean if that would have kept going on? I mean, why don't you get a divorce? And also, she's a Nazi. Why don't you murder her? Inconsistent.
I would have. The whole thing was
Wait, if she would have continued feeding the dogs meat, why don't you murder her? She's aiding and abetting the murder of innocent animals. Why don't you murder her and stop this murder spree by your wife? Well,
she was gonna stop doing it.
But by your own admission, at that time she was a Nazi, right? In your definition, as far as if a vegan went and dated a non-vegan or so forth, and because she did feed that dog meat, that means that she contributed to the death and suffering of animals. So
right. So, Monsieur, yeah, not Monsieur, Mademoiselle Vega says they shouldn't own animals. Yeah, I mean, one time the Mr. Vegan Gaines cat jumped on his lap, and then it wanted to leave. And for a second, Vegan Gaines wouldn't let it leave. And he said, no, you're not going to leave, or something like that. So at that moment, Vegan Gaines became just as evil as all the farmers who own cattle and don't let the cattle roam freely. So he's just as evil, but of course, Vegan Gains is righteous, and the farm owners are the evil ones because Vegan Gains is the ultimate judge, and what he's allowed to do, they're not allowed to do. And Vega says, "Oh my God, they should not own a cat, especially." Yeah, but I think they make their cats vegan. They feed their dogs and their cats are all vegan. Yeah. Yeah, I mean there's so much to say. I mean there's a lot of hypocrisy. I mean at the end of the day, we need to debate these people and we need to prove that they're wrong, which is actually very difficult. It's not as straightforward because they are it's not simple. Okay, but we have Rome was not built in a day. We have to start somewhere.
By your definition, is your wife Jasmine a Nazi? Yes or no?
Yeah, I don't know if it's as easy as a yes or no, but
Wait, what? It's not as easy as a yes or a no? How could it not be so easy? So meat eaters are Nazis. Yeah, but why? Okay, let's hear.
yeah,
You
certainly she did. Certainly she did something wrong and something
Certainly, she did something wrong. Okay, but okay.
that I was certainly against. I think it's morally wrong.
yeah, but
Wait a minute. You think it's morally wrong? So there is a problem. Actually, there is a problem with that statement that you think it's morally wrong. If you think it's morally wrong, where is your morality coming from? What is the foundation of your morality? Right? I mean, morality. It's at the end of the day, it's just your choice. It's just your preference for a flavor of ice cream. That is morality. And I would claim that morality doesn't exist because people don't not murder because of a preference. People don't murder because of social pressure. Because if I go and murder someone, society will punish me. That's why people don't murder. People don't murder. It's not a preference. If I'm really, really angry at someone, at one point I might go and murder them. It's not a preference. It's a judgment call. Is it worth it? At one point it might be worth it to kill because of some benefit. So anyway, it's complicated. We'll come back to it.
here's the
Sure.
thing: what really got me upset, and the reason why I wanted to get it on tonight there was because someone sent because I'm up here watching a football game, and someone sent me this message saying, "Hey Vince, he said this and said that." Probably just and I will admit I'm riled up. Been drinking a little bit there. It was a good football game. And stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is this here.
Wait, let's read some comments. So Monsieur Javier says, "Are vegan pets a thing?" Yeah, yeah. They, as far as we know, look, we don't know if Vegan Gains is vegan. He claims to be vegan. We don't know if vegans are vegan. They claim to be vegan. They claim to be feeding their pets a vegan diet, whatever that means. It doesn't mean anything because to grow vegan plants, you have to kill animals. So there's that. So it doesn't mean anything, but fine, whatever. All right. Vega says cats are obligate carnivore. Obligate? Um, I guess, but they feed them. I mean, you can feed a person. I don't think there is a medical problem with eating a vegan diet or a vegetarian diet. I think you can survive and maybe even be just as healthy, maybe even healthier, eating a vegetarian or vegan diet. I don't know. I'm not discussing the benefits, the health benefits. It might be healthier for a cat to be vegan. I don't know. I'm not discussing that. I'm discussing the ethics. Is it ethical to be vegan? That's the question. Next question. Or is it more ethical to be vegan over a meat eater? Okay, next. So Cree, I don't understand your name. What is Cree? Who's Cree Barnett? Cree Barnett's Humpty Dumpty. So Cree Barnett, some guy with a lowercase c but a capital B. Humpty Dumpty. I know what Humpty Dumpty is, but I don't know who Cree Barnett is. But it's not Cree. It's Cre because it's like a short for Chris. So it's Cre. Cre Barnett. Barnett with a double T. I don't know. Okay, why did the wife feed the cats meat again? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember. I do know. I think I know. I don't remember exactly where I heard, but I think the dogs. It wasn't the cats. It was the dogs. I think the dogs weren't well, and she thought that the dogs were not well because they're not getting meat, and she panicked. And in her panic, she fed them meat. That is what I think happened. Next, Barnett Humpty Dumpty says, Mr. Slave, would you let Vega murder you? No, I wouldn't let anyone murder me, but when I fap to porn, the ultimate orgasm is to see it's called an executionatrix. So just like there is a dominatrix, there is an executionatrix. So she executes like a dominatrix that executes a man is an executionatrix, and those images, I get the most incredible orgasm in the universe. I don't understand it, but it's the biggest turn on for me just to see a guy being, or just to imagine being murdered. I honestly, I don't know where this is. I don't know where it's from. It's, I mean, I guess it has to do with my childhood because I mean, my father tried to murder me. I guess once, maybe a second. That's it. It one time it was very realistic. That is that because of that? I don't know. 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 But that's the way it is. But no, I wouldn't let anyone murder me in real life. I do like joking about it. So, like when Nicole used to say to me, "If you don't do the laundry properly, I'm going to kill you." And I used to always say, "Why do you need an excuse to kill me? You should kill me without the excuse." And every time she said it, it made me so happy. I love hearing it. It just it. I don't understand why it makes me so happy to hear a woman telling me that she wants to murder me. But yeah, but not in reality, only in the fantasy. In reality, I'm very gentle, and I don't want to. I don't want any long term or permanent injuries. All right, next one. Vega says, "Crew Mr. Slave doesn't want to die." Wait, he doesn't want to die? Yeah, I don't want to die either. I want to live forever. Taking steps to live forever. I don't know if I'll succeed, but I hope to. But why is saying that he doesn't want to die? No one want. I don't know anyone who wants to die normally on a normal day. Monsieur Javier says Mr. Slave does want to die. He said so. No, no, only in my fantasy. I take really good care of myself. I'm eating right and I exercise regularly, and I don't insert any chemicals into my body. Everything is like natural. I'm super healthy. I'm a super healthy guy, and I take all like vitamins, and so that's the way it is. All right, next question. So Vega says, "Oh, I didn't know that, Javier. Did I want to die? No, I don't want to die. In my fantasy, yes." But fantasy means when I fap. When I start fapping, it's like a different universe. I'm not in this universe. In my fantasies, like it's crazy. It's like it's a different person than who I am now. It's completely different. All right. Barnett Humpty Dumpty says it is supposed to be Chris Barnett, but I forgot the C. Chris. No, you forgot the S. Forgot the S in Chris Barnett. Chris Barnett is a fat MMA fighter with a big Humpty Dumpty. Oh, okay. Interesting. Next, Javier says, what is your weapon of choice, slave, to be murdered? High heels. Yes. High heels, like high heels that are steel high heels made out of steel that are pointy, and if you shove them straight into the skull, they just go through the skull, and that's the best way to go. It's unbelievable. To go like that would be incredible. Vega, what about long pointy nails? I don't see how you can kill. I guess you can take the nails and shove them right into the carotid arteries and have the blood spew out. Yeah, I guess, or maybe even puncture exactly where the heart is with a long pointy strong fingernail could go reach the heart maybe, and puncture the heart like with a fingernail. I guess that would be kind of nice. I never imagined that. Usually it's being cooked to death by women and being eaten like just as food. That's a turn on. And the high heels, or with a sword, or being hung. That's terrific. Being hung is terrific. All right, let's continue.
You had made this whole thing about Nazism and stuff like that, but yet your wife, and this is why I said you needed to really think about that. Because here's the thing, I made that video there. I pre-taped that on Friday. I haven't made any videos today, actually. I just had it to where it automatically loaded there. So I wasn't even aware that your wife had actually fed a dog meat there, essentially. So at that time, was she a Nazi
Well,
in
here's
your
the
definition?
yeah, so here's the difference. Like, we talked about this, obviously. The whole reason she was doing it was because, like, literally a family member that she was in love with like, loved, was dying, and she kind of was panicking and thinking of anything she could do to prevent this dog from dying, and really it was just a simple solution. She just needed to feed her pancreatic enzymes. So
Right.
it's a significant difference between that and saying, I don't care about animals, I'm going to kill and eat them.
Well,
You,
how is
you,
How is that different? What do you mean I don't care? I care. So wait. So if I say I don't care about animals, I'm going to eat them. I don't say that. I don't say I don't care about animals. I mean, I do care about animals. Animals are very cute, but they're also very delicious. And that's so I don't say I don't care. It's not that I don't care. I actually, when I see farm animals enjoying their time on the field, it's very cute. I really I enjoy it. My heart becomes filled with joy. It's not that I don't care. If I see animals suffering, that I'm not happy. If right when I kill an animal, with the animals that I eat, I want to know that they died a quick and painless death. So it's not that I don't care. Let me see if there's any comments. One more comment. 1 second. Oh, we can just go. Okay. Vega says, I love animals, but I also eat them. Yeah, me too. I actually I thought about a lot of things. So one of the things I thought is, what if I was born in a world in which I was told, "Hey, listen, so we brought you into this world, as food. So you can live a couple of years. We're going to grow you a couple of years. We're going to feed you. You're going to have a lovely time. But when you turn X years, we're going to kill you and eat you. That's why we brought you into existence. So, what would my response to that be? So, my response to that would be, it is my honor to be your food. Thank you for allowing me to come into existence and enjoy the few years that I had on this beautiful earth. And if you can, just make it a quick and painless death and then enjoy your meal. This is, the cycle of life. I That's the way it is. I mean, we're all going to die one day. No one is going to live forever. As far as we know, it's impossible to beat death. So, so fine. So I'm perfectly okay with that. Next, Monsieur Javier says most people would not have that response, laughing my fucking ass off. I would not want to be a meal for anyone. Oh, really? But what if you were told that that is the condition in which you were brought into this world? People invested money in bringing you into this world and they fed you. Right? If someone had to feed you and take care of you and dress you and give you housing and medical care. They took care of you, but this was all on the condition that you would be served as food one day. The alternative is if they knew that you would resist, then they would not have brought you into existence in the first place. So that is the condition. So if you're if you're resisting, then you're violating the contract. There is like a contract that you basically signed. Whether you signed it or not, it doesn't matter. But that is the contract. That is why they brought you into existence. You cannot run away now and say, well, I don't care. What do you mean? People invested their time and money, and their tears, their sweat, their blood in bringing you into what you are now. You can't just ignore that. It wouldn't you, in my opinion. I wouldn't. I would say, fine. You created me, so you own me, and you can do whatever you want. But please don't cause pain. If pain can be avoided, like don't eat me while I'm alive, unless it's a beautiful woman doing it and she's playing with my pee pee. But in general, I'd rather die a quick death. I mean, if it would be, if it well, anyway, forget about the. Let's not mix the sexual gratification with the vegan discussion. So, so, so the animals that the farmers bring into life. They spend a lot of money bringing these animals up and taking care of them. So it makes sense for them to, okay, we created these animals out of thin air basically, so these animals are our possessions, and we they're our property, and we can do whatever we want with them. We can chop them up, kill them, chop them up, and sell them as meat. It's completely legitimate. Let's continue.
You
Is that a
understand?
difference there, Richard? How is that a difference here?
Well,
You just said that she fed. Because let me
look,
ask you this here, because
I'm not saying what she did was right at all. And yeah, certainly, if you're paying for meat, it is tantamount to Nazism.
So your wife is a Nazi, so why aren't you executing her?
I just think she ended up doing it out of not knowing what was going on, being in a state of panic, and I think at that time
Well, you could argue that the Nazis were in a state of panic. I mean, they thought that the Jews are the end of the world. They cannot afford to let the Jews exist because the Jews are civilization enders. I mean, you could argue that they were even under more duress at the time. The whole world was falling apart. No one knew what's going on. I mean, the world was in complete chaos during that time. I mean, today we know so much more. Those guys were like in real panic. So you could argue that they panicked even more. Hold on, let me just go. I have to go turn on the fan because I was barbecuing before. Give me 1 minute, please. 1 minute. I'm almost done. I'm almost there. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. La la. Okay, let's continue. Wait, let's see. No more comments. Oh my god. We might have to maybe do this in small pieces because otherwise people are gonna die of boredom.
she'd only been vegan for like maybe 3 years or something. I don't think she was.
It doesn't matter if she was vegan for 3 years or 3 seconds. I mean, who cares? She is a Nazi according to you, so you should execute her. What are you waiting for? Also, didn't Vegan Gains say that once you cannot be temporarily vegan? So she was vegan and then she stopped being vegan and then she started being vegan anyway. Let's continue.
As stuck into the like ethical ideas as I was. So
She wasn't stuck into the ethical ideas as I was. So what? But she is a meat eater. She ate meat or fed meat to a cow, to a dog. So she is evil. She's evil. You need to execute her. What are you waiting for, Vegan Gains? You need to execute your wife. Hold on 1 second. Yes. Yes. Okay. All right, Mr. Vegan Gains is a hypocrite because he's not murdering. We should name maybe this video. Mr. Vegan Gains is a hypocrite for not murdering his wife.
okay,
But you would
sure. I
so
guess
that
I
was
guess
you
to
can
answer
say
your
that that was
question, sure.
compromising, right? But that's
Yeah,
I guess to answer your question, sure. So your wife is a Nazi, so you're gonna execute her or what?
is that you
Wait,
compromise.
what's the point if you claim someone is a Nazi and you don't take actions against them? So what's the point? Did you get her depersoned? Did you contact her employers? I don't know if she works. Did you contact her employers to get her canceled, like you probably would for Nazis? Did you? What actions did you take against her? I mean, you didn't even divorce her. So what kind of a vegan are you, Mr. Vegan Gains? Very, very not vegan of you.
Between that situation, right? So what makes that different from any other
yeah.
relationship?
So, well, I'm not saying compromise is a bad thing. Like when I'm giving advice, like, okay, yeah, if your partner's
Wait,
like,
you're not saying compromise is a bad thing? You're not saying compromise, so you are saying compromise is a good thing. How could you say that? So you're going to compromise with the Nazis? So why are you even using the term Nazis? If you're going to compromise with Nazis, then you might as well call them goody two shoes. You're going to compromise, so why are you using the term Nazis? Nazis is Like, there's no negotiation with Nazis. Like, what's the point of bringing up the Nazis? The Nazis are the ultimate evil in the universe. Why are you bringing them up if you're going to end up compromising?
Like saying never, it will never go vegan. Like obviously that's just advice. If you want to date somebody who isn't vegan, as long as you're not contributing to a rights violation, I don't see what the issue is. It's just
Oh, so there is no issue? So you can marry a meat eater? There's no problem with marrying a meat eater, and you're gonna give her money. Let's say she is a stay-at-home mom. You're gonna give her money. She's gonna take the money, go shopping, and buy meat. So you're not contributing? How are you not contributing? So you're not gonna give her money? So what? It doesn't make any sense.
that for me personally, I don't think it's a good idea. I think it will likely lead to an unreconcilable differences, and that
Yeah, I mean, you are vegan in your name, vegan. You're vegan. So how can you live with a non-vegan? Not just live. I mean, I don't understand why the discussion is not about executing her or turning her in. You should go to the police and turn her in.
that's from personal experience. That's from seeing other people who had issues with similar
Hold on, there's chats. All right. So Javier says, "Wait, his wife wasn't a vegan the whole time." I don't know. He says at that time his wife was vegan for 3 years when she decided to go feed their dog meat products. So I don't know the exact history. Javier says, gonna play this in the background. Slave, be right back. Yeah, it's okay, Monsieur Javier. It's okay. Let's continue. Let us continue.
experiences. A lot of women who are in vegan activism have boyfriends or husbands that eat meat, and
Wait, a lot of women who are in the by the way, veganism is 80% women, by the way. And okay, so a lot of the women in the vegan activism have non-vegan partners. How is that acceptable? So they're sleeping with Nazis? How is that acceptable? I don't understand. Let's continue.
creates a shit ton of fucking problems in their relationship. So
Creates a shit ton of problems. Aren't we talking about Nazis who were murdering Jews? And what you're talking about is a shit of ton of problems in the relationship. This guy doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, you obviously don't care for the animals. You're not even talking about the animals. You're talking about a ton of problems in the relationship.
I was just giving general advice, what I thought. It's not like I'm some like weird relationship god where I'm telling people don't ever do this because it's like some sort of moral imperative. It's just
What do you mean it's not a moral imperative? So what is? I mean, I don't understand. So you're saying Nazis. I don't understand.
advice. But yeah,
Right, but
like I
in
mean,
that
if you're gonna
particular
ask me,
instance, you but
sure,
in that
like
particular
let's just
instance,
get
you
through it.
compromised.
Yeah, so we compromised, sure, but like to get through this, yeah, what she did was tantamount to Nazism. I would agree.
So why aren't you executing her? I don't understand. I don't understand. What's the point of comparing her to the Nazis? What's the point?
Okay,
So sure,
but you didn't. But here's the thing: you're still married, right?
yeah,
No.
Yeah, it's like I thought this guy cares for the animals, but he's careless.
Okay.
but again,
So you
like
have to. So you have to. I mean,
again,
this is what I'm trying to
again,
tell you
dude.
here. You got to be really careful as far as to just automatically just saying, okay, that person's a Nazi and that's it. That's extremism there. There
No,
always has to
no.
be, and even
Well,
you
this
made
is
an
where the debate
exception for your
is.
wife Jasmine, did you not?
Yeah, but this is like I don't see how this really relates to the shit that happened with us, but like this is where the debate is whether
would you admit that
Eating meat is
Jasmine?
tantamount to Nazism.
But would you admit that Jasmine contributed to
So
the
what's the point of saying someone is a Nazi if you're not going to do anything about it? So everyone is a Nazi, and let's continue about our day normally. So what's the point of saying that everyone is a Nazi? You're a Nazi. They're not. Everybody's a Nazi. All right. So what? So what are you going? What are we going to do about it? Nothing. So what was the point? What's the point of claiming someone is a Nazi? What's the benefit? Why are we investing energy in comparing anyone to a Nazi if we're not going to take any action because of that? So there's no real world implications to being a Nazi. So what's the point of saying someone is a Nazi?
death and suffering of all
Yeah,
animals that day.
So I think the difference is that he wouldn't touch his wife because why would he? He would not destabilize his own life because he doesn't care about the animals. Or at the end of the day, he wants to have a nice, comfortable life. The reason he is a vegan is because he makes money from being a vegan. He found a niche in 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 cyberspace to be a vegan and to live a very comfortable life. And his life is comfortable, so why destabilize it? He has, good regular sex with a, I guess, good enough partner. Maybe she has a good body, I don't know. And they have a good relationship, everything is stable. It's nothing to do with the animals.
yeah, she
Did
did.
she?
Yeah,
She
she
did.
did.
Okay
And
then.
look, if this was something that would go on where she said, "No, our dogs are just gonna
This is something that would go on. It's like if it would go on, only then would he. Even probably then he wouldn't do anything because he already said that there's women in the active women vegan activists who are married, boyfriend relationship, non-vegans, and it doesn't make a difference. So even if his wife went non-vegan tomorrow morning, he probably would not do anything because at the end of the day, as long as he gets money from his contributors and he can live a comfortable life, he doesn't care. That's my opinion. That's my prediction. He's always going to justify everything as long as the money is flowing. Let us continue.
keep eating meat," we would have broken up. I had some amount of understanding.
How much? How much time would you give her before you break up? And for how long would you break up? These are nice promises, but no one is going to enforce these promises on vegan gains. At the end of the day, he does whatever he wants, and he can make whatever promises he wants. He doesn't have to keep any promises. He can do whatever he wants. He can sound. This is all virtue signaling. He's gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna. We would have split up. We would have divorced. Yeah, virtue signaling. That's all it is.
That she was in a state of panic, that she didn't know what was going on exactly, and it was a loved one, so I had some level of understanding with why she did.
But she's a Nazi, so you understand Nazis. So by this logic, you're a Nazi. So shouldn't we execute you? I don't understand. So you're a Nazi. You're literally a Nazi sympathizer. You are literally a Nazi sympathizer. Vegan Gains is literally a Nazi sympathizer. He sympathized with his wife after he defined her as a Nazi. So he's literally a Nazi sympathizer. Congratulations, Vegan Gains. You're a Nazi sympathizer. How about that? Let's hear it again. Let me just move it back 5 seconds.
And it was a loved one, so I had some level of understanding with why she did that. And in the end, things were resolved. We were able to feed our dog a vegan diet just fine. She just didn't
Okay, in the end, okay, fine, whatever. But you had a level of understanding. Okay, so you understand Nazis. Wonderful.
have the pancreatic enzymes. We gave her an enzyme supplement. No more meat. So it's a bit of a different situation than having a relationship where your partner says, "No, I'm gonna eat meat, and that's just the way it's gonna be. I don't care about animals."
No one says. I mean, I don't say that I don't care about animals. So that's the straw man. That's got nothing to do with anything. I care about animals, but I eat them.
It's just I like
But it doesn't matter. Even if I didn't care about animals. I mean, the Nazis were the. I mean, the Nazis. We don't know if the Nazis cared for the Jews. They decided to kill the Jews. It's all about the decision to kill the Jews. So if the Nazis cared for the Jews but killed them, then they're not Nazis. I don't understand.
the taste of meat, and that's that. Big difference there between what happened with me and Jasmine and being in a relationship where your partner
Big difference. Okay, so I mean, you're always going to find differences in any comparison. I mean, the Nazis were in like 1,000 years ago, and today it's not 1,000 years ago. So a big difference. It was 1,000 years ago. Big difference. Yeah, the big difference. You can always find differences. It's always something different. Those guys, their name was Hansel and Schmezel, and your wife's name is, I don't know, whatever, something else. A big difference. Yeah, everything is a big difference. Who cares if you don't care about the animals? You do care about the animals. If you kill an animal, isn't it all about killing the animal? If I kill an animal while I'm crying, but I kill the animal. So is it a big difference if I kill the animal and I cry while I care? So I care for the animals, but I still kill them and eat them. So according to your logic, I'm not a Nazi because the Nazis didn't care. And I don't even know how you know this. How do you know the Nazis didn't care about the Jews? Maybe they did care about the Jews, but decided that the Jews are just whatever. I mean, the whole thing makes no sense.
says, "It's fine that you're vegan, but I'm gonna eat meat, and that's just the way it's gonna be."
Right,
But
but
anyway,
by you said there that you, I mean, by your own admission, that day she was a Nazi, and
yeah,
you decided to stay with your Nazi wife,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What are you going to do about it? The money still flows in. My Patreon still send me money. What are you going to do about it? I'm still living the good life. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's veganism in a nutshell. What are you going to do about it? These guys are going to do whatever they want, and that's it. But they're going to terrorize you because of whatever reason. These guys are just terrorists, and they're going to terrorize you at the end of the day for whatever reason they're going to find that day that you deserve to be terrorized. That's all it is.
Okay then.
Well, anyway, Vince, the debate that I was interested in having was whether or not meat eating is tantamount to Nazism. So, you want to get into that?
Hey, sure. I'm fine. I got plenty of tequila here, so I
All
mean,
right, cool. You might want to hold back on that because things will get a
oh,
little deep here.
oh no, I'm gonna be perfectly fine.
All right. All right, so I guess for like we do have to establish on some level like what Nazism is. I think we're gonna fundamentally agree, but just to be clear for the sake of debate. So when we say Nazi, obviously it doesn't literally mean somebody who identifies as a Nazi, who has socialist principles, wants to exterminate Jews, believes in an Aryan race, like shit like that. So it's a set of behaviors.
So why are you bringing up the word Nazi? If it's not and not and not and not and not, why bring up the word Nazi?
Mm,
So the answer is because because uh, I mean it's It's because he wants to get the maximum reaction from people. It's like he wants to take the most evil people defined in history and, and claim that meat eaters are that. That's why he wants to use the term Nazi. It's not a technical term, obviously. It's just the maximum reaction. Get the maximum reaction.
And sometimes a set of political beliefs that would make somebody a Nazi. It doesn't have to be ultra specific. I would say the biggest thing is genocidal ideologies where you're taking marginalized groups.
So there's been plenty of genocides. The Nazis were not the first ones to genocide, and the Nazis were Nazis before they started genociding. And there's still Nazis today, I guess, who don't believe in genocide. I mean, you could probably be a Nazi without agreeing to genocide. Nazism is not necessarily genocidal. I mean, Mein Kampf. There was no genocide in Mein Kampf. So anyway.
And committing mass genocide or mass killings.
So you don't mean Nazis. You're saying genocidal. Now, if you want to say genocidal, people who kill animals are not genocidal. They don't want to high national security agency. What's up? People who kill animals are not trying to genocide the animals. They don't want to exterminate the animal. It's just the opposite. I mean, I want to exterminate mosquitoes. I don't want to exterminate cows. Cows are delicious. Mosquitoes are not. Roaches are disgusting. I'd like to exterminate roaches. I don't want to exterminate chickens. I don't eat chicken, but cows. I would always have to go back to cow. All I eat is cow. So so that's that.
Not recognizing them as a group that has rights. They're some sort of out group. So Nazi.
Oh, so the whole thing is not recognizing a group with rights, like children, or like babies, or foreigners, like anyone who you don't give them rights. So once you don't give them rights, you're Nazi because you didn't give because the Nazis didn't give rights to the Jews. So anyone who does not give rights to someone, so he's a Nazi. So if you don't give rights to someone, you're a Nazi. So if America does not give the American rights to non-Americans, that's Nazism. You didn't give a foreigner the rights in the Constitution. That's Nazism, according to Mr. Vegan Gaines. You took away his rights. And by the way, which rights?
Nazis did that with the Jews. I'd say meat eaters are doing that with animals because I believe there's.
Okay, so if I don't think that's true. I think meat eaters give animals rights. I mean, I cannot walk onto a farm and kill an animal. I don't think even if I own an animal, I don't think I can kill it. As far as I know, I can't kill an animal. I have to be registered or something. I have to have a license to kill an animal and eat it. As far as I know, I don't think I can just slaughter an animal and eat it. So let's assume there's a right that right. So animals do have rights. So let's give animals rights, but still we can eat them with rights. Right, at the end of the day, I mean, humans have rights, but sometimes we end up executing humans or putting them in jail or fining them, whatever. I mean, the fact that humans have rights does not mean that they have infinite rights. You can have rights, but these rights are limited. So the same goes for the animals. So the Nazis did not give the Jews any rights. Okay, so they were the Nazis. But let's say we're going to be different. We're going to give animals plenty of rights, but we're also going to execute them and eat them. How about that? So your argument is defeated.
No morally significant.
Let me check the comment section. National security says yo again. And oh, okay, I read that. And national security says LOL PETA. Yeah, but I don't think vegans like PETA because PETA actually executes dogs. Like after they don't find them a home or something, so they actually hate PETA. Let's continue.
Difference between humans and animals. Therefore, meat eating is tantamount to Nazism.
Okay, so we disproved that already. So we're going to give animals plenty of rights. We're going to give them a bill of rights, but we're also going to execute them and eat them just like we execute humans under certain circumstances. We're going to kill and we're going to kill animals under certain circumstances. For example, once they reach a certain age or a certain weight, we chop their head off and we make them into cheeseburgers. That vegan gains should be perfectly fine with that because that's completely different than what the Nazis did to the Jews because the Nazis didn't give the Jews any rights. So we'll give the cows a bill of rights. How about that, Mr. Vegan Gains?
Because you're paying for animals to be exterminated.
No, it's not exterminated. No, no one. Right, this is completely different. I'm not trying to exterminate the cow genome. I'm not trying to exterminate the cow nation or the cows. I'm not trying to exterminate. Actually, I want the opposite. I want to expand. I want to exterminate bears, for example, or any wildlife. That I do want to exterminate, but cows and chicken and anything we eat, I want to have as many of those as possible. So I'm the opposite of exterminating. So I'm the opposite of a Nazi. Therefore, meat eaters are the opposite of the Nazis. Let's continue.
A la Jews.
Okay. So, how long have we continued this genocide for? Ever since the birth of man, right? Caveman used to club
Yeah.
That's a good point. So we're not very good at this genocide. We're genociding these animals for thousands of years. We're not going and the cow nation keeps growing as we're genocide. Like the more we genocide cows, the more cows there are. That's not a good genocide.
animal, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, after millions of years of development there, or so forth there, and remember, let me ask you this question.
It's not millions, as far as I know. We've been Neolithic for about 10,000 years. So 10,000 years ago, we just started the Neolithic revolution. We just started um, having animals, farming animals, and settling down. So it's approximately 10,000 years ago, not a million.
Why did cavemen eat meat in order to survive, in order to live?
Yeah.
Can our bodies not process meat as protein and break
Well,
it
yeah,
down
we
into
certainly.
That's not so important. I'm not interested in the medical discussion or the health discussion. I want the ethical discussion.
amino
Can.
acids?
Well, yeah, we certainly can.
Okay. So why do you? Here's the thing. There, would you consider? Do you consider a cow being on the same level as a human being?
Like in terms of what?
Can it speak to you?
Well, no, it's certainly.
Can you understand a train of thought that's coming from the cow?
So, cows are less intelligent. You might even be able to argue that they're less sentient. The number of subjective experiences they may be able to have would be less than a human being. But again, I don't see a morally substantive difference. So, like in the case where, let's say, I don't know, Nazis were killing Jews or other people and breeding them to eat them in this hypothetical scenario, you'd obviously have a problem with that, but you don't have a problem with people doing that with animals. So
Right. So
name.
let me
So
just
I would.
establish that.
Well, let me
So
finish.
just to,
Let me finish. I would say
sorry
name.
about that.
So yeah, I would say name the trait that's lacking in animals that if lacking in human beings, it would be morally acceptable to treat those trait equalized human beings the same way we treat those animals, where we breed them, we kill them, we eat them.
Okay. So
So here, Vegan Gains pulls out the big cannon, the name, the trait. So um, let's listen to this again. This is very, very difficult.
But
I mean, can it speak to you?
well,
Did
no, it's
can
certainly
can you understand a train of thought that's coming from?
Right. So I think his name is Vince. Vince is trying to say that, well, animals are different than humans. So because animals are so different, that's why we're not going to give them rights. So I already gave them rights. So I don't even need to reach this far. I gave the animals all the rights they want, but I execute them and eat them. That's one right I don't give them. Or it's I give them rights, not like the Nazis, but I still eat them. So I'm not a Nazi. So I can avoid this entire discussion. But Vince says that, well, the animals are are completely different. I usually don't take this route. I don't go this way. I don't care that. I mean, the reason I mean, why do I think we don't eat humans, but we do eat animals? That's the question. So I believe we give humans rights and we don't eat humans. That's because of basically a balance of terror. So I'm afraid of walking up to a stranger and chopping their head off and eating them. Because if I do that, right, I'm a murderer, I'm a cannibal, society will punish me. So of course I'm not going to do that. And at the end of the day, that's why we don't eat each other. That's the reason. Now we do walk up to cows, we chop their head off and eat them. Why? Because there is no balance of terror between us and the cows. There is actually a perfect balance of terror between us and the cows, such that we grow them in order to chop their head off and eat them. So 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 that's that. Now, what vegan gains is saying, why are you doing it? So the answer is, I'm not doing anything. It's not up to me. So he would say, anyway, it's very difficult to have this discussion with myself, but let's continue. Let's see if we can manage understanding this discussion.
The cow.
so cows are less intelligent. You might even be able to argue that they're less sentient. The number of subjective experiences they may be able to have would be less than a human being. But again, I don't see a morally substantive difference. So, like in the
Okay, so you don't but there is no morality. Morality is just your choice, and your choice is just because of the balance of terror. You were born into this society with this balance of terror where we do eat cows and we don't eat other humans. So when you say morality, that's it. That's the answer. You already answered the question. That's it. And trying to claim that there is some higher, there's higher ethical, there's some ethereal ethical ethics in the air that has decided that we don't kill humans, and there's no, you cannot find the distinctions why we cannot apply it to animals. It's There is no such, there is, ethics don't exist. Ethics is just our society and the society we were all born into, the society that for some reason decided to not kill humans and yes to kill animals. That's the society. And it's the same society that decided to execute criminals. If someone walks up to you and or walks up to and it's a major criminal like a mass murder or whatever, then society at the end of the day is either going to jail them up or fine them or even execute them. So um so that's the society in which we live. These are the rules. No one made these rules. No single person made these rules. No one had a say in this. This is evolution. This is part of the of evolution. We have 10 fingers, and we eat animals, and we execute criminals. That's the society in which we live. Now, how do we know a cow is a cow? Name the trait. If you have a problem understanding that a cow is a cow and a human is a human, I mean, that's not his question. His question is, well, what's the ethical distinction? But there is no ethics. See, his mistake is that he injects here morality out of whole cloth. Suddenly, he has this morality. Name the trait why we are ethical towards humans, but we're not ethical towards cows. The answer is ethics don't exist. We treat humans different than we treat criminals, different than we treat animals, because for the same reason we have 10 fingers. That's how society evolved. It's a balanced, complex system. You want to change it, go ahead and change it. But for now, that's the way it is. It doesn't. I mean, you can change it. You can force a change, but it's not. It's not because of a morality, because of ethics. Because ethics and morality don't exist. Anyway, I think we're going to stop here because I think our stream is very long. I don't even know if anybody's watching. It says one person, but it could be that I am that one person. I think we covered enough material that anyone who watches this will understand enough to get the feeling that vegans don't have the moral high ground. Vegans are they um they certainly don't have the moral high ground. That's all I want, right? Because there is no morality. So even in a discussion of a moral high ground, there is no morality. So there is no moral high ground. So I'm not gonna judge vegans for being terrible people. They're just civilization enders. They're just terrorists. But I cannot judge terrorists for being less ethical than non-terrorists, because that would violate my understanding that there is no morality, there are no ethics. All right, so we're 1 hour and 17 minutes into this. I think we should stop. Maybe we'll continue next time. Maybe I'll take someone else's debate with Monsieur Vegan Gains. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great pleasure serving you. I hope to do this again. So for now, may the force be with you. Thank you very much and have a lovely weekend.